A statistic is a characteristic or measure obtained by using the data values from a sample. A parameter is a characteristic or measure obtained by using all of the data values from a specific population. The mean, also known as the arithmetic average, is found by adding all of the data values in a dataset and dividing by the total number of values. Whenever we calculate a mean associated with a sample, we would use the symbol x bar to represent the sample mean. In this formula, we see that we have this uppercase Greek sigma symbol, which is the symbol for summation. In other words, we will add up all of the data values, which will be denoted using the letter x. We would then divide by the number of values in the data set, and here we have the lowercase n, which is the symbol for sample size. Whenever we calculate a mean using all of the data from a population, we would use the symbol mu for population mean. Note that the formula is exactly the same. We would sum up all of the data values and then divide by the size of the data set. This time in the formula, we see the uppercase letter N, which is the symbol associated with the population size. It is of maximum importance that we are able to quickly and appropriately distinguish between sample statistics and population parameters through the correct use of symbolism. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the orangutan is an endangered species. However, there are an estimated 41,000 orangutans remaining in the world today. Observing 41,000 orangutans would be prohibitive in many ways. So if we wanted to calculate a mean of a variable associated with the orangutan, say for instance the mean number of hours that orangutans spend sleeping per day, we would have to use a sample. So we would calculate a sample statistic and report it correctly as x bar. Also, according to the World Wildlife Fund, there are only 60 remaining members of the Javan rhino species in the world. They are all found in the Ujung Kulon National Park in Java, Indonesia. So with adequate resources, it is conceivable that we would be able to observe all 60 members of this species. And so if we calculated a measure associated with all of the members of this species, we would be calculating a population parameter. And when we report the mean, we would use the symbol for the population mean, mu. Consider the following list of sample data. Since this is a sample, if we calculate the mean, we would be calculating a sample statistic. In order to calculate the mean, we should add up all of the data values in the data set, and then we would divide that sum by the size of the data set, which is 9 this time. We would use the symbol x bar, since this is a sample mean, and that comes out to 31.4 repeating. Now the general rounding rule states that we should not round at all until the final calculation has been made. And then the rounding rule for the mean says that we should round to one more decimal place than occurs in the raw data. Our data values are all whole numbers, so we would round our mean to the 10th place, and so we would report this mean, a sample mean, using the symbol x bar as 31.4, rounded to the 10th place. The following list of data gives the ages of all U.S. senators, rounded to the nearest year as of February 3, 2016. Since these data represent an entire population, measures that we calculate using this data set would be population parameters, and if we calculate the mean, we would use the symbol mu. Recall that the process for calculating a population mean is the same as for calculating a sample mean. We would just add up all these data values and then divide by the size of the data set. And then paying attention to the rounding rule for the mean, we would note that these data values are all whole numbers, and so we would report the mean rounded to the 10th place. So mu, our population mean, would be 62.2 years.